Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this one we're going to work on network security groups and application security groups, and these are part of the AZ500 series labs. And if you go to Microsoft Learning GitHub repository, there are a bunch of AZ500 repos in there. Some of them are pretty old, so make sure you are going to the right one. So I'm kind of redoing some of these labs because it's been a while that I did that, maybe almost a year back. If you go, you can probably find some old videos in my channel. So these labs, they were updated as recent as just 6 days ago, so to reflect the current changes that Azure portal has, and the differences that we had between the previous instructions and now the way the portal looks. So we have already done up to lab 6, so we're going to work on NSG, which is the network security groups in this lab. And pretty standard but pretty important to know. Network is definitely one of the big components for Azure security exam. So in this one we're going to look at the Azure security groups and also application security groups as well. So again, you have a scenario. So the organization has two groups of servers: web servers and management servers. Each group of servers should be in its own application security group. So this is kind of the requirement that it's giving you. You should be able to RDP into the management servers. Okay, management servers you RDP, but not the web servers. So you do not open the RDP ports for the web servers, but keep the management servers RDP port open. The web server should display the IIS web page when accessed from the internet, but the network security group rules should be used to control the network access. So the IIS, we can open the port 80 for the web servers, but on the management you don't need to open port 80, but on the management you do need the 3389, but on the web servers you don't. So the lab objectives, we're going to do a couple things: create the virtual networking infrastructure that we need, and then deploy virtual machines and test the network filters. So in this one, the first exercise, create the virtual networking infrastructure. We're gonna go create a virtual network with one subnet, then create couple of application security groups, which are ASG, and then we're gonna create a network security group NSG and associate it with the virtual network subnet. And then finally we're gonna create NSG security rules to all traffic to web servers and RDP to management servers. So again, log into your Azure and go to the create virtual network, like look for the virtual network. So let's come back over here. I'm already logged in. Look for virtual networks and never use the classic unless you have a very specific need. Hit on create, and we are gonna follow the lab guidance to create and configure our network. So for the virtual for the resource group, we're gonna use this name. Name of the network is gonna be my virtual network, and we're gonna deploy that in East US, not West. And let's see if there's anything. Okay, on the IP address we're gonna use the /16, and on the default subnet plate we're gonna use the /24 CID here. So IP addressing, let's see, there is something by default, so I'm gonna get rid of this, put it in this, and on the click on add subnet. Again, you can keep default, and what we'll do, instead of 16 we're gonna use 24. So we are going to slice up and take a small piece of 255 addresses. 5 of them will be reserved for the Azure, and we'll create a small subnet. Okay, and hit add. So there's my default subnet, and this is going to be the IPv4 address space. And currently I'm using only one address space, and you can actually add multiple address space if you like. And then that's all we need. And if you click on review and create, that should create the virtual network for me after the validation is successful. Okay, so that doesn't take any time at all, so you will have this available to you like momentarily. And then once that is done, we can also create application security group So in this case, instead of virtual network, we are going to search for application security group and see this is done. You can quickly go to that virtual network, make sure that everything looks good. You can go to the address space. This is the address space we said, and we have 65,536 addresses available, and connected devices there is nothing. Subnet should have only one default, so everything looks good. So now let's go and do the application security group. Just click on that one, click on application security group, click on create, and then come back and let's configure that as my ASG web servers. So I think we have to create two different application security groups, so put it in there, then choose lab 6. Is it 6 or 7? It's 7, so we're gonna choose lab 7. Choose something. This is the one that we need, and the name has to be like that, and it's in the East US. Looks good over here, and we're gonna hit create. So that is going to be our application security group number 1, and we are going to create another application security groups for the management. So these are for the servers. We're creating these application security groups, and for the server we're gonna create another one. Same process. It's just gonna be my ASG management servers. We're gonna deploy to the same resource group and in the same region. So go to the resource. This is application security group, so it's just got deployed. So application security group, go back to the particular resource. There's one available, hit create, and then we're gonna go to 7 again. Name is this time management server, East US is great, and then we're gonna say review and create, and create. So this should create the application security group. Now next we are gonna create a network security group, or NSG, and we're gonna associate the NSG to the subnet. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna click on network security group. Next, once this deployment is done, it doesn't take very much time at all, so I don't really have to stop doing anything, or you can just let it just deploy. You just can come over here and just look for the network security group, so you're not waiting at all. And I have one that is associated with some other lab. I'm just gonna create a new one here, and we are gonna name it at my NSG, and we're gonna put it in the same resource group, my NSG, and it's deploy. Look, the application security group is now got created. I'm gonna create this one. So here the network security group, that's all I need. Hit review and create, and if the validation is successful, hit on create, and that's about it. So now we have a network security group, and in this network security group we're gonna associate that security group to my virtual network and to that particular default subnet. This is how I'm gonna associate this particular network security group. So click on that one. So over here, let's see, subnets, nothing is associated, so we're gonna click on associate, click on virtual subnet. We're gonna look for AZ500 lab 7. Under this we have the my virtual network, and here I have the default subnet that we created, and hit OK. So that's how you associate this particular subnet to this particular NSG, and then whatever rule we create, inbound security rules and outbound security rules, all of that will be uniformly applied to all the resources that are deployed inside this particular subnet. So come back over here and create inbound NSG security rules to web servers and RDP to the management. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna click on inbound security rule, gonna create one inbound rule, and pretty standard if you have used this. So these are the default NSG rules that got created. We're gonna create add, and the first one we're gonna open the the web traffic, port 80 for HTTP and port 443 for HTTPS, right? So what we're gonna do, we are gonna select the application security group and select the my ASG web server. So source is any, so this application security group, and when it's going to the web servers, okay, then you want to open service HTTP and HTTPS. I need both of them, so let's see what they are requesting me to do over here, because I need both. So come back over here. Okay, just use TCP and then use both. So come back over here, go to TCP. Where is my TCP? T. It does not have TCP. Okay, so I'm just gonna cancel it for 1 second and redo this. Source any. Okay, from here. All right, TCP is what you need to select here for us. Let's do that, and then come over here. So this any from any port. Destination is trying to go to the web application security group and to my web server security group, and service is now custom and destination port. See, this is no longer staying as TCP, and the custom port should be 80 and 443, right? So that should be allowed. So, and priority we're gonna call it 100, and name is allow web all. So okay, so TCP still over here is there, priority 100, name is gonna be allow web all. There we go. So that NSG first is gonna look for the traffic and look for these ports, and those ports can be accessed if those ports are associated with this my ASG web server application security group, and whichever VMs are part of this, you'll be able to access those ports. So I think that all looks good. Hit add, and that should add this particular rule. It comes at the very top. So any source, you are sending traffic not directly to the virtual machines, you are sending traffic to the application security group. We are going to create another one. We are going to call that one allow RDP all. So copy this one, come back over here, add. Again, any destination would be protocol. I'm going to choose TCP, and then destination port range would be 3389, right? 3389 for the RDP. So this is gonna be destination for application security group, and this time I'm gonna pick up the management services, and TCP is fine, and I need to choose 110 is fine, and I am going to name it as allow RDP all when you are sending traffic to my ASG management servers. Okay, so to any virtual machine we place inside this application security group will have port 3389 accessible. So hit add, and it should show up in here. So there we go, and it's showing a warning because this is not recommended. Azure will always show you that whenever you have port 22 and 3389 open, it will say, hey, take a look, do you really need it? That's just a warning to you. So we got that one also done. So you have kind of now seen what to do, and the next thing that we have to do, deploy some virtual machine and test the network filters. So really we're going to create a virtual machine to use as web server. We're going to create a virtual machine to use as management server, and associate each virtual machines network interface to its application security group, and then test the network filtering. So over here, what you can do, you can go to virtual machine, click add, and we're going to configure the machine as this. So let's just go there. So come back over here, click on virtual machines, and it will show up, and I have two of them. They're both shut down, and I don't think I don't even need any of those. I'm gonna try to create one. These two, sometimes what happens, this is a free account, I reach the limit for the quota and it fails the deployment. If that happens, we'll have to come back and delete the old machines that I'm not using anymore. For now, I'm just gonna try to create and see if I can get by without deleting these two. So this virtual machine name is going to be the web. So this is going to be placed under this resource group. Name is going to be the web. It's going to be the East US. It's saying that Windows Server 2019 data center Gen 1. So 2000 Gen 1, that's selected, and username, student, and password, whatever they're saying, I'm going to use, and I'm going to use this password over here, password and password. And over here, public inbound ports, I'm gonna say none, because I'm not configuring any NSC to that to the network card. So I'm gonna say none. And then I think that's about it. Go to disk, and I'm really not changing anything. Network security group, select. Okay, from NIC, we're gonna say none. Create the virtual machine, enable with the managed storage account. So really we're going with the default option. So come up over here, disk. We are not really changing anything. Networking, over here, network security group. Right now I'm gonna choose none. That's what that lab said. Network security group, use none. Okay, and then management, enabled with managed storage account for the boot diagnostic. So let's go to management and look at the boot diagnostic. That's already selected. Advanced, I don't need anything, so that's all. I'm gonna click on review and create, and this one should create my virtual machine. If the validation is successful, hit create, and we'll have a virtual machine running momentarily. So while this is going on, let's come back over here, and we're gonna continue creating the next virtual machine, and we're gonna configure it almost the same way. So go back over here again, click on virtual machine and hit create virtual machine, and we're gonna put it, the name is this time it's a management virtual machine. Resource group is going to be this one. Everything else look to be the same. This is gonna have a student, and the password is going to be this, and paste it back. Inbound port, none of them open, and we are just gonna go with the default options. I'm just gonna hit review and create for this one as well, and this one is gonna go through the validation again, and if this is validation is successful, we will start deploying this particular machine as well. So in like a couple minutes you will see two new machine will show up in here. So the first one got completed, right? So the next thing that we need to do, we have not associated any network security groups to the network interface of these two particular virtual machines. So if you try to connect, nothing is going to happen. So over here it's now deploying. So while it's deploying, you can go back again, go back to the virtual machine. You should see at least 3. It's actually showing all 4 of them. 2 of them are stopped that we already had, 1 of them is running, and another one is in the creating stage. Okay, so over here right now, so even my web, if you click on that one, you have a public IP address, and if you go to the public IP address, there is nothing running and no ports are open, so you should not see anything. The other thing over here, if you go to the networking, okay, if you see for that particular virtual machine, actually it's already got, interesting that it's already got, actually, you know what, it got this because the network security group is applied to the subnet, right? So what we need to do here is come back to here, and we're going to associate our virtual machine to the appropriate application security group. So go to the virtual machine and make sure they're running. Start with the virtual machine web entry, go to setting, networking, and then click on application security group. So both of them now got deployed. So we are here, and we're gonna go down to the application security group, and right now nothing is configured, and we know this is the web server, so we're gonna associate this web server with the web servers application security group. Hit save, and then what we're gonna do, we're gonna go back to virtual machines and go to the management and do the same thing. We're gonna come down to networking and application security group, configure the application security group, and this time we are gonna use the management for the management server. Hit save. So now what we are doing, we are configuring the application security group properly. Alright, so both of them got done. So here you see this is now showing up over here. So let's see, so both of them got done, and finally now we are ready to test the network traffic filtering. So what we are going to do, the management, we should be able to RDP to that particular machine. So let's come back over here, go back to the virtual machines, and the management one, if you click on that one, get the IP address, I'm gonna go and open Ramina that I use for RDP connection from Ubuntu. I'm gonna paste this, hit enter. Let's see what happens. There we go. So username is student, and we're gonna provide the password. What is the password? This is the password, and we're gonna provide the password right here, and hit OK, and it should let me connect to that particular management server, right? But if I try the same thing, open another window, okay, and get the IP address of the other virtual machine, which is the web server. If I get that public IP, if I come down over here and provide that public IP 140 and hit enter, it should not even let me connect because there is no connection. We have not opened port 3389 for this particular server. Only 239 I have opened it. Okay, so that is the beauty of how you know the network security group and the application security group works. So come back over here. So now we are in there. We can navigate to the virtual machine blade. So what we are going to do on the virtual main operations run command, so we're going to run some PowerShell command inside from the portal. So you can go to the portal and then which is this one. Yeah, this is the one. So search for run command. You can do that from inside the virtual machine as well. So here you're gonna run a PowerShell script, and you're gonna paste that command and hit run, and that should run this script inside the virtual machine that you have. And all it's doing is including the installing the web server and with some management tools, and it says script execution is progress. So that's a clever way to run scripts inside your virtual machines from the web portal. Okay, so make sure that I'm running it under the right portal. Yeah, this is which one? My web. Yeah, this is the one where we want to install the IIS server, not on the VM management server. So this is good. So what will happen once this port is open? So this is where we are installing the IIS server. So that one, if I click and refresh, once the installation is complete, I should have the web page that should be displayed. That would be the default IIS web page, and it should say, yeah, you have a server up and running. Here is the standard default page for you. So let's see the output. It still says script execution is progress. By the way, you can also run this script by going inside this particular virtual machine as you are here, opening up the PowerShell script, right? So you just search for PowerShell, and you do run as administrator. And once you have this, you can paste the same command over here and hit enter. I don't think I need to do that because I'm already running, but let's come back over here. Sometimes it just runs. Yeah, so it's now available. So even though you have not seen the complete output, your most of the stuff is already done, and that's the reason I'm seeing this web page available to me, right? For this particular IP. So what it proves that I have port 80 now completely open, and I have not installed anything on the other server on the management, and you will not be able to see anything if you try to go to the other one. So that's about it in this particular lab. So just make sure to clean up these particular resources that we created in this lab. They could be costly, and I don't really need that. Here you see the execution is also now done. So that also proves, because you see this Windows Server IIS, Internet Information Service default page displayed. Alright, that's the end of the lab. If you like the lab, again, please give me a like. That helps my channel, and come back to do some more labs with me and learn a bunch of new things about cloud. I do primarily Azure, but I've started doing AWS, and I will start doing some GCP in the future as well. So please leave a comment if you like it, enjoy, share with friends, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.